Hey guys, welcome back to the Spruce and Linen channel. I'm Janelle and today I'm going to show you how to make your own candy stripe roving as well as 3 different ways you can incorporate it into your weaving. So let's get started. This video is brought to you by the Spruce and Linen shop, where you can find weaving looms, kits, tools, and supplies. Link in the description box below. Before we get started with mixing our merino wool colors, I wanted to kind of show you what a true blended merino wool roving looks like, just for reference. So this is one, again, that at least in April 2021, I have available in my shop. This is what from the factory mixed merino roving looks like. So you can see here, if I bring out the whole bat of it, you can see all the different little colors in there. This one I think only has like maybe even just 2, no, maybe 3 different colors mixed together to create this blended merino wool roving. So ours is gonna look different than this because this is done with what's called a wool carder. So it's a big machine that basically combs out the wool, and so you can comb different colors together and still have a solid piece of roving when you're done. So our method is gonna look a little bit different, but this is what a true blended one is. And again, you need equipment to do that properly, but I'm gonna show you a different way. So I have chosen to do this demonstration with 3 different colors of roving. You can find all of these in my shop. I will link the names and the links for them in the description box below. Of course, depending when you're watching this, they may or may not be available. I really love these colors together. To me, they're very happy. It's kind of like happy spring colors, and you can mix anywhere from 2 to 4, like you can mix as many colors as you want for this. I just thought 3 was a nice, easy number to deal with. So the one thing I will say, especially if you're a little bit newer to working with merino wool roving, is don't do this in like a super, super long piece to start. Like start on something a little bit shorter. I am going to start just kind of with the width of my table. I know you can't see my entire table here, but so it's about this long. This is a manageable kind of piece to be working with. So I'm gonna set each one aside as I kind of pull these lengths out, and I'm gonna just kind of pull them all the same length. And again, just as a refresher, when you're pulling apart merino, you wanna put your hands kind of far apart. If you put them really close, you can it's so hard to pull it apart, but if you just spread your hands out a little bit, you can just gently start pulling and they come apart. Then what we're gonna do is we're going to start pulling these apart into quarters for this particular project. It's easy to kind of, it's easier than like pulling it apart into thirds. So we're gonna do quarters. So we're gonna lay out this roving, and I've shown you guys this method before, but we'll quickly go over it again. But when you lay out your merino wool roving, you'll see that there's kind of like some natural looking break points in it. So I'm gonna try to find the one that's in the middle. And that looks pretty good. And you can see that it's in that natural split point. It is kind of just allowing me to pull it apart. These probably aren't perfect halves. It's fine. You know how we do on this channel. Nothing needs to be perfect. And then from, again, that half, I'm gonna pull it in half again so that we have our quarter. So that's one piece. And then we're gonna do the same with the other 2 colors, exactly the same method. Now that we have our quarters, we're actually, I realized that I had this wrong, but we're gonna split them one more time. So we're actually working in 1/8, but we're using, you know, 3/4 together total. So I'm gonna split this one again. And again, if they aren't split perfectly, it honestly is not a big deal at all. It's just once you get down to this being this narrow, you just have to pull very gently and carefully so that you do still have a full length of each one. See, I can already tell that like this dark green is definitely thicker than this light green, but we're not gonna worry about it. All right, so then we are lining up our colors. So we've got the dark, light pink, and then we're gonna just do that same thing again. And then what we're gonna do is we're basically gonna kind of start gently running this through our hands to just kind of help it want to stick together. So generally speaking, heat and agitation is what makes wool into felt. So we're not looking to like fully felt this or anything. I just want it to kind of, I want them to be friends. So we're just trying to get them to kind of stick together a little bit better. And you can see as I'm twisting this is why I'm calling it the candy stripe roving, because it really does resemble that sort of look. All right, so now that we've got this piece ready to go, I'm gonna grab my loom and then we're gonna try a few different stitches using this mixed roving. So as I mentioned, the first stitch we're going to do is a sumac stitch, so you can really see the candy stripe effect of this roving. If you need a full tutorial on how to do a sumac stitch, I will put a link right here. This shows kind of my 3 favorite ways of using merino wool roving and weaving, and I'm gonna show you one different way today as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a sumac stitch to show you what this looks like. All right, so here is what a sumac stitch with this mixed merino roving looks like. And I just think it's so fun. I think it's a really easy way to add some really custom elements to your weaving. And I'm gonna do some plain weave rows and then we're gonna do a couple more stitches with the mixed merino as well. So the next stitch we're going to do is one I showed you a few weeks back, which is a different kind of knotting texture where you actually knot your piece before you weave it in. So basically what I did with this piece is you can see, oh, the end of the pink is kind of missing on this one. But basically we have just 1/4 or 1/8 maybe of each of the colors here. And then I just tied literally knots into it. And then you can just weave that in. For this method, I like to weave a plain weave that's over 2 under 2 instead of over 1 under 1. And you can literally just weave that in like so. All right, so that's what the little knotting section looks like. And I just really like that, again, we're getting this really interesting mix of color because it's not like perfectly even. So it's a nice organic texture. And we're gonna do one more stitch just to see, round this out with 3 different ways you can use this. The last method we're going to do is I've showed you this one before in the how to weave with merino wool roving tutorial, and it's just simply over 2 under 2, just like this last section, and we're gonna pull up random little parts to give it some texture. So again, this one again is just using the 3/4 instead of, is that 3/4, 3/8? I think it might be 3/8. But we're just using 1 piece of each color for this one. And that's how that looks. So again, depending on the look you're going for, you might wanna like twist this more. Oh, that's what I should have done. I should have twisted it and then, would that have worked? Okay, you guys, I just got an idea that I want to try out. I'm gonna take out 1 row of this, and what I want to try is twisting it before I weave it so that we really get, again, that more candy stripe look. So now that it's twisted, I'm gonna weave it back in. We're just experimenting now, which is kind of one of my favorite things. So now that it's twisted, we're getting to see more of each color. Doesn't want to like pull up quite as nicely. Okay, so it's not really that different from what we just did down here. So that answers that question. All right, you guys, so this is what the candy stripe roving looks like in these 3 different techniques. Everything is like tucked in and neat now, so you can really see what it looks like. I definitely am going to say that the sumac stitch is by far my favorite because it really shows off those different stripes. All right, you guys, so that is how to make your own candy stripe roving, as well as 3 different ways you can incorporate it into your weaving. I can't wait to see you guys try out this technique, so make sure you tag me on Instagram when you share your work. You can tag me at Spruce and Linen, as well as use hashtag SL Weaving Club so I can see and share your work. If you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell to get notifications when I post new videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.